Are you wondering how to approach project risk management so your project doesn't fail? Well, I'm going to share with you my tried and true techniques that you need in order to ensure your projects are successful. Stick around to the end of this video because I'm going to share with you my checklist on ensuring how to make sure your projects are successful. Hi, if you're new here, welcome. Don't forget to subscribe to the best career and project management advice channel coming to you every Wednesday. I'm about to teach you some tried and true risk techniques that I use on my projects to ensure that I minimize the bumps on the road. So if you're ready for this, like this video and let's get to it. Defining risk. Okay, I want to share with you the definition of this so that we're all on the same page. Risk is the possibility that a project, event, or task will not occur as planned, or that unplanned events will occur that will have a negative impact on the project overall. And that could be project time, scope, or budget. Why worry about risk? Well, when it comes to really good project management, you want to increase the probability of positive events and you want to decrease the probability of negative events. Because I will promise you this, risk always happens on projects. I've never come across a project that did not have a risk that popped up. And I promise you this, you cannot plan or you can't really deal with the risk if you haven't done good planning because you're scrambling and you may not have the time needed in order to put the right solution in. This is why risk planning is so important. Risk analysis. Who do you invite when it comes to doing any type of risk analysis? The good news is if you've done your charter, and you can check out my other videos about charters, you would have done some initial planning around risk anyhow. So you can use that to kind of springboard into a risk session. But once you actually kick off your project and you're in execution mode, you do want to get your team together. They're subject matter experts and they come up with a perspective that is critical when it comes to really doing true deep analysis of risk. They're going to have perspectives that you just don't have. So it's really important with the risk analysis to include your team members. Sometimes minimum, you can probably do it in a half a day if your project is not huge and have a lot going on. But a lot of times a full day is really what you need. Now that you have your team together, you really want to do the analysis. You now have to create a list of what could potentially go wrong on the project, why it could go wrong, the causes around it, even the impact on the project if it were to go wrong. Once you've collected that information, you also want to take a look at the probability of that actually occurring. And you can do that by putting it on a risk grid that can rank things for you. But it's really important to do this analysis and to really take a look, what are you comfortable with from a standpoint of risk as a threshold of what are you going to look at? Because at some point you do have to rank it. You can't do all of the risks and look at them and try to put plans against them because you may have tons of them, which becomes its own project. So understand what your comfort level is with risk, put a threshold once you've done all of that data collection, and then you're going to go into the management of that risk. How to manage risk. All right, you cannot plan or predict for every single risk. It is impossible. But once you have gotten your list and you've decided on the top risks that you definitely have to look at because the impact of it's going to be great on your project, you want to do two things. You want to create a contingency plan and a mitigation plan. A contingency plan is a plan that you look at that if that risk were to occur, what would we do? This becomes really powerful because I promise you, as I said before, it's really difficult to put in a really good plan in place if a risk occurs because you may actually have to do some things to get it set up in order to really put in a good contingency plan. The second type of plan you want to look at is a mitigation plan. Look, I don't want the risk to occur. So what can I do to minimize that risk? So you do want to have two plans for each risk. The mitigation, how do I minimize it from even happening? But more importantly, if it should happen, what's my contingency plan? How am I going to deal with it? Now that you know how to approach project risk management, it is time for you to get successful on every single project you do. And the best way to do that is to stop failures. So I want you to go in the link below and download this. It's going to give you key information to ensure your success because planning and being prepared is the best way to ensure great project outcomes. Don't forget to subscribe to this channel, like this video, and please share it with people that you know who could benefit from this. If you learned something new, let me know in the comments below. If you have some other ideas on how you manage risks, I'd like to hear from you. Until the next video, see ya.